Hi team, I am the Inconsequential Runner and we are back with Coach Mark. If you caught our last video, you'll know the theme of this one, which is, and the pressure's on you, Mark, why should you have a coach? And just before I ask you that question, I'll say this. I didn't have a coach for about 15 years. I thought running was super simple and I don't need a coach. All I need to do is run. And Mark, you weren't aware of this, but I was asking around, should I get a coach or not? And people pointed me in your direction for about a year before I actually reached out to you. Now, for those watching this video, I'll say this. One of the big benefits that I had engaging with you, Mark, and having a coach is you could give me the most boring things to do each day, but it had purpose because it was part of a plan and I was following a plan. Where if I got myself to do those boring things, I wouldn't have followed through. I would have not done the run or I would have bowed out. So that's been a huge benefit for me with engaging with you, Mark, as a coach. But my question to you, Mark, for, I suppose, in a general sense for everybody else, why would they engage with a coach? What are the benefits of connecting in with a coach? What do you think, Coach Mark?
Yeah, look, I'm quite fortunate. I've had about 3 coaches in my life. I had one through secondary school, one through university, one as an adult. And they all played important roles for me, for my development, because I was at different stages.
Right.
And so they all brought different things. You know, as I matured, in the beginning, I knew nothing. And it was very much a disciplinarian type of coach till now, where it's more of a discussion type thing. But I guess the thing that they all have in common, and something that I've tried to bring to my role as a coach, is the fact that I had when I had a coach, I had the confidence that I knew that someone who had quite a lot of knowledge and experience was setting a plan and a program for me. So that gave me confidence that because I'm we're all humans, we're very emotional people, and so we tend to get emotional with our training. And I know I've done that in the past. You think, oh, should I be doing more? I did well last week, I should do more this week. Oh, my whole world's collapsed because I didn't go so well last week, or whatever. So that was one thing, knowing that there was a plan there. So that was the first thing. And the other thing that's probably more important, I think, is that with the coach, it's someone who you can discuss things with and someone who can adapt things, because things change. We're not professional runners, or most of us aren't, and so we have other things in our life that happen, work, family, other things. Plus, things get in the way, things have to change. So having someone again who's not emotional, so they're sort of away from it all, but they can look at things objectively, and you can ask, what should I be doing? I've found that very useful, and no matter how experienced you get, I think it's useful to have someone like that who you can discuss things with, you can plan things with, and they've got your best interests at heart. Yeah,
I think that's a really good point, and I wasn't thinking of mentioning this, but it's just popped into my head now. Sometimes I try and be my own coach around nutrition, and what I can say is I'm probably as I'm about to eat something, I think, if I was my own coach, would I eat this or would I not? And I know what the answer is, but half the time I still end up eating it. So the point, which means it doesn't work. And the other thing too is rest days. When you ask me to do rest days, sometimes I think, man, I want to cheat. I want to go out and just knock out just an easy 5K, but I know you'll find out and you'll track me down. So I think what's really resonating with what you're saying is it's better to have someone that's not inside your head to take some sort of holistic view of what needs to be done, because really we not get confused, but we've got other sort of motivating factors or other variables bouncing around in our head, and we don't have the clarity that you have looking from outside and having that coaching relationship from outside. So a couple of things you're saying there are really resonating with me.
It can also take away a lot of stress and pressure with training, because training's often quite a pressure in itself, let alone having to think and work out what the hell you're going to be doing. you know,
Yeah.
on the day. If someone has said, look, I've worked this out, and this is what I think you should do, you just go, okay, I'll do that. I'm off and I'm away. You know, it automatically takes a lot of pressure out of the train. You don't have to think too much. You know, sometimes you can do the session twice. You worry about the session, or you know what you're going to do, and then you do the session. Yeah.
So if someone hasn't got a coach right now, how long should they engage a coach for? So what I'm advocating is they test getting a coach. So if they have a coach right now, at least test it. See if having a coach benefits you or not. And it depends, I suppose, on the coach and the qualities they offer you and stuff like that. But the question I've got for you, Coach Mark, is how long should they test that for before they know it's working or not? How long's long enough to give it a good go? So if they were to give it a go, how long would you say if they were to reach out to a new coach?
You really need about 12 weeks for you know a noticeable change to take place. Yeah, so that's the first thing. The other thing is improvements in running happen quite slowly, and they should happen slowly. So say after 2 weeks deciding is probably too short, for example, because you have to go through sort of a full cycle of a periodized, you know, build up. Having said that, you know, coaching is a relationship thing. So say if someone came to me and it was plain we just didn't get along, or we weren't a meeting of minds at all. much like any relationship you have,
of course.
There's a lot of other people out there. So it's a kind of it's a two kind of thing. But what I try to do is try to get to know the person and what makes them tick, not just in their running, but also in what's going on in the rest of their life, so that the running can fit in with their life, and then they're likely to stick at it. So that's what I try to achieve.
Yeah. And look, you do. So the last question I'll have you, we'll just wrap up. I think you've articulated well the value of the coach. It's certainly been super valuable for me. I think I intimated or said that, you know, I ran for like 10, 15 years before I even thought about getting a coach, because I thought it was simple and easy. And running is simple and easy, but a coach makes it simpler and easier. So the quick question I've got for you is, do you have any capacity for anyone else if they wanted to reach out to you specifically, Mark? And as I ask that question, there's a part of me that is saying, no, leave my coach alone. And that's me being a little bit selfish, right? Because I love having the support from you. But yeah, do you have any capacity? Because if you do, what I'll do is I'll put your details in the video notes and people can reach out to you.
Yeah, look, I certainly do have capacity. One thing I've had to be is be very, very organised. So I've got I know what everyone's doing. I've got I love spreadsheets. So I know what everyone's doing. So yes, so I'm quite an organised person by nature. So I'm more than happy to take on extra people.
All right, but you know where your limit is, all right, Coach? I don't want to spread too thin.
Well, that's the thing. No, I'd never shortchange anyone. Certainly not you.
Yeah. No, it's been a rich coaching relationship for me. So yeah, thanks, Mark. So what I'll do is I'll put your details. If anyone wants to reach out to Coach Mark, then do that. If you're going to, you better be fast. All right. Let's wrap that. Thank you, Coach Mark. That was a really rich insight about the benefits of having a coach from personal experience. It's been phenomenal. Am I running? Look, at the end of the day, the measure is, has your running got faster and more fun? And both boxes are ticked for me. So with engaging with you, Coach Mark, as a coach. Okay, we're going to wrap that up. Next time, let's talk about something we might not think about too much in running, and that is the use of our arms. How can we, because we smash our legs, we smash our core, we smash our aerobic capacity. Let's get the most out of our running. What role do arms play? So let's talk about that in the next video. Until then, it's a goodbye from me and goodbye from Coach Mark.
See you guys.
See ya. Bye.